I was petrified about it, by the way. And, we got through it. And I think it was during that time period when I started to think about things.
Well, you want to do the interview with me, or do you want to watch?
I'll do it with you.
Oh, you want to do it with me?
Well done.
Okay.
Eric, will you help me grill your daddy? Should we ask him?
Simon Cowell built a reputation as someone who rarely let emotions show. Whether facing criticism, pressure, or the spotlight, he always appeared calm and in control. But behind the scenes, a deeply personal challenge was unfolding, one that no amount of success could prepare him for. After his young son received a life-changing diagnosis, Simon made an emotional decision that revealed a side of him the public had never truly seen. What happened, and why did it change him forever? Let's find out. The moment Simon realized something was different. At first, nothing seemed alarming. Like many parents, Simon Cowell believed every child develops in their own way. Eric simply appeared to experience the world differently. Certain sounds seemed far louder to him than they did to others. Bright lights, crowded places, and unfamiliar environments could quickly become overwhelming, often causing him to withdraw instead of engaging with those around him. For a while, Simon hoped these moments were simply part of Eric's personality, or a stage he would eventually outgrow. But as the months passed, the same patterns kept returning. The more closely he watched, the harder it became to dismiss them as ordinary childhood behavior. The uncertainty slowly followed him everywhere. Questions that once crossed his mind only occasionally became impossible to ignore. He replayed countless moments, wondering if there had been signs he had overlooked, or if there was something more happening beneath the surface. Every new observation only deepened his concern, leaving him searching for answers that never seemed to come. Determined to understand what his son was experiencing, Simon immersed himself in research. He read articles, explored expert advice, and searched for anything that might explain Eric's behaviors. He also spoke with professionals, hoping each conversation would bring reassurance. Instead, every answer seemed to uncover another question, making the journey feel even more uncertain. Then came the moment that convinced him he could no longer wait. During a family trip, Eric became overwhelmed by the noisy, unfamiliar surroundings and completely shut down. Nothing Simon did could comfort him. The heartbreaking experience became a turning point that changed everything for their family. For the first time, Simon stopped hoping the situation would simply resolve on its own. Deep down, he knew they needed professional guidance to understand what Eric was going through. What followed was a long process filled with careful observation, specialist appointments, and detailed evaluations. Each step brought them closer to an answer, even if it was one no parent is ever truly prepared to hear. Eventually, the diagnosis came: autism spectrum disorder. Although hearing those words carried enormous emotional weight, they also brought something the family had been missing for months: clarity. The diagnosis explained behaviors that had once seemed confusing and gave Simon a new perspective on his son. He realized Eric was not lacking potential or somehow broken. He simply experienced and understood the world differently, with unique strengths and challenges of his own. That realization marked the beginning of a completely different journey, one that would not only reshape Eric's future, but transform Simon himself in ways he had never imagined. Long before he faced this life-changing reality, however, Simon had been living a very different life, never expecting that fatherhood would become his greatest lesson. The fatherhood he never expected. Long before becoming known as a devoted father, Simon Cowell was recognized for something entirely different. Around the world, he built a reputation as the brutally honest judge who rarely softened his opinions. Whether on American Idol, The X Factor, or Britain's Got Talent, he appeared confident, decisive, and almost impossible to rattle. He trusted his instincts, embraced high-pressure decisions, and lived a fast-paced life centered on work. That lifestyle left little room for thoughts of parenthood. For years, Simon openly believed having children simply wasn't part of his future. He enjoyed his independence, valued his freedom, and had carefully built a life around his career. Becoming a father seemed incompatible with the path he had chosen, and he was comfortable with that decision. Then, life took an unexpected turn. In 2013, news of Simon's relationship with Lauren Silverman quickly became the focus of public attention. The headlines generated widespread discussion, but away from the media frenzy, something far more significant was unfolding. Simon was about to become a father, a role he had never truly imagined for himself. Everything changed when Eric Philip Cowell was born in February 2014. From the moment he met his son, Simon experienced a shift that caught even him by surprise. Success, television ratings, and business deals no longer felt like the center of his world. For the first time, another person mattered more than his own ambitions. Even Eric's name carried deep personal meaning. Simon chose to name his son after his late father, a decision that honored his family's past while symbolizing the beginning of a new chapter in his own life. As Eric grew, Simon's priorities quietly transformed. His demanding schedule gradually became less important than spending time at home. Moments that once might have seemed ordinary, sharing peaceful mornings, listening to his son's laughter, or simply being present, began to outweigh the excitement of celebrity life. The man once known for chasing the next opportunity found himself appreciating the simple routines of family life. Yet alongside those joyful moments, Simon started noticing small differences in Eric's development. Nothing seemed dramatic at first, but certain milestones weren't arriving as expected. As Eric approached his second birthday, one concern became increasingly difficult to ignore. While many children his age were beginning to communicate with words and short sentences, Eric remained mostly nonverbal, relying on other ways to express himself. Like many parents, Simon tried to reassure himself that every child develops at a different pace. Still, the uncertainty lingered. Combined with the behaviors he had already observed, those unanswered questions refused to fade. Eventually, those concerns led the family down a path they never expected, one that would challenge Simon's understanding of fatherhood and ultimately require him to make sacrifices far greater than anyone outside his family could have imagined. The life Simon chose for Eric. As Eric grew older, Simon's role as a father continued to evolve in ways the public rarely saw. One of Eric's biggest passions became music, especially playing the drums. Inspired by the rock band Green Day, he even dreamed of performing on Britain's Got Talent one day. For most parents, that might sound exciting. For Simon, it brought a mix of pride, amusement, and concern. In 2023, Simon spoke openly about Eric's ambition, joking that judging his own son on stage would probably be one of the hardest moments of his career. Eric wasn't just interested in drumming. He wanted to sing while playing as well. Simon laughed about the idea. But beneath the humor was something much deeper. As time went on, he admitted that he actually hoped Eric would avoid auditioning for the show. It wasn't because he questioned his son's talent. In fact, Simon praised Eric's natural rhythm and growing musical ability. His hesitation came from knowing exactly how demanding the entertainment industry could be. After spending decades in front of cameras and facing constant public scrutiny, he wanted his son to enjoy music without carrying the pressure that often comes with fame. That protective instinct reflected a much bigger transformation taking place behind the scenes. Following Eric's diagnosis, Simon gradually reshaped nearly every part of his daily life. His home became more than a place to unwind after work. It became an environment carefully adapted to support Eric's needs, with routines that provided comfort, stability, and predictability. Therapy appointments, including speech and occupational therapy, became regular parts of family life, requiring patience, consistency, and unwavering commitment. Over time, Simon realized that progress wasn't measured by dramatic breakthroughs, but by small, meaningful moments. A new word, after weeks of effort, brief eye contact, or a quiet interaction. Each became a milestone worth celebrating. In March 2025, he shared Eric's growing love for music, hoping a drummer's inspiring performance would encourage him to dream and grow at his own pace. Perhaps Simon's greatest sacrifice was letting go of the future he had once imagined. The milestones he expected, the conversations he assumed they would have, and the picture he had created in his mind, all had to be replaced with something different. Yet, what emerged was not a story of loss, but one of acceptance, patience, and unconditional love. The man once known for his unwavering confidence had quietly discovered that life's greatest success could never be measured by television ratings, business deals, or public applause. It was found in standing beside his son every step of the way, embracing the journey they never expected, and choosing love over expectations. In the end, Simon's emotional goodbye was never about giving up on Eric. It was about letting go of the life he once envisioned so he could fully embrace the one that truly mattered. What are your thoughts on Simon Cowell's journey as a father? Share your opinion in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and check out our next video.